my dear children. This is Ambika, your biology master teacher, right here at Vedantu. First of all, I really hope all of you are staying safe and all of you are keeping good health and staying in a good state of mind because, as all of us know, this is the current problem that the entire world is facing, right? Unfortunately, we have lost a lot of lives because of the pandemic across the globe. I mean, this in this particular year, 2020. So what I thought is, I was just thinking about what useful information I could give you, what useful tips I could give you, which could be relevant for you, especially in this situation. And that's how I thought of talking to you about top three habits that every student must cultivate, must have in the year 2020. Well, honestly speaking, I would say be it a student or a teacher or any adult or a person of any age group for that matter, this year there are a lot of things that we have had to accept as new normal because social distancing, wearing a mask, personal hygiene, all of that have become very normal to us, right? And then probably staying indoors most of the day, while it wasn't the case a few months back, all of these have suddenly changed, which is why I thought, although I might probably have spoken to you in the last academic year about a few habits that every student must have, this year, certainly, because of the situation, a lot of things have changed. And as I told you, although every age group has been equally affected and every citizen of India has been affected in some sense or the other, um, definitely I understand what you would be going through as a teenager, as a as a especially because you are in your teen years, your growing years. There is a lot of energy in your body, and then this is probably a time when you might otherwise have liked to socialize with your friends, just go out and meet your friends, just spend some time with them, go for combined study sessions, or just go out and party with them once in a while, or at least eat out with them. A lot of things, right? And perhaps many of you are not those kinds of people, so that is okay. But anyway, I think for everyone, regardless of whether you have been a very social person or not, a lot of things have changed. Especially things like not being able to go to school, even schooling is happening from home because online classes are happening. You might not be able to go out and play with your friends or go for sports practices. You might not be able to go out for your hobby classes. Perhaps a lot of these things are happening online from home, and physical activity that way, because you're staying indoors most of the day, is very less. Uh, there is a lot of challenge. So there are three things which can certainly bring a positive change in all our lives, especially in a student's life. Okay, so just stay with me for the next 10 minutes because at the end of the video, after telling you the three top habits that you must cultivate this year, I will also be giving you a pro tip or a golden tip that will certainly help you make better sense of all the three habits that I'm going to be telling you now. Okay, so let's get started. Habit number one that every student, everyone must cultivate now is self care, practicing self care. What do I mean by that? Well, I don't mean that you must be a selfish person, just ignore everyone else around you and just think about yourself. It's not about being a self centered person. Totally not. I am telling you the things that you must personally take care about yourself so that you, your family, and everyone else in the society stays safe in the current situation. So, simple things, whatever everyone has been telling you, and the Ministry of Health has been telling all of us, like maintaining personal hygiene, extremely important, very important. A lot of us still do not understand the importance of washing our hands quite frequently. Washing hands not just with plain water, with warm soapy water, or at least with any soap for that matter, liquid or solid, whatever soap is available to you. That lather, washing it probably properly for at least 20 seconds certainly helps you eliminate a lot of germs and especially the virus that we are all most scared about today, right? So washing hands properly quite often, especially especially when you come home from outside, first thing should be to wash your hands properly. And of course, before every meal, probably like, before you shake hands with someone, ideally they say this year you shouldn't even be shaking hands with anyone. Our Indian culture of namaste is what is safest in this situation. Right. So personal hygiene, not just about washing hands, it's also about sanitizing and taking a bath like twice in a day, especially if you have come home from somewhere outside, washing your clothes often, being clean basically all the time is super duper important to protect yourself, your family, and the society as a whole. Secondly, in case soap is not available to you, sanitize. Right. Sanitizers are not exactly a substitute for soap. There is no substitute for soap. Only in the worst case, if you do not have a soap in handy, for example, if you are outside somewhere and you think you might probably have touched something a little untidy, maybe you might want to quickly sanitize because they are alcohol based quick rubs that you can use, right? So all of this, washing hands with soap, sanitizing, wearing a mask properly. You know what I see, I find it very funny when I go out and see people like wearing a mask for the sake of wearing it, for the sake of showing the cops, for the sake of showing the police that they are actually wearing it, and not exactly to protect themselves. It's very clear when you look at them by the way they are wearing it, because a lot of people wear it below their nose. A lot of people wear masks which don't even fit their faces properly. No, don't go in for all this, and also always be sure to wear a clean mask. If possible, disposable masks, or if you don't have a disposable mask, if you're reusing it, make sure you have thoroughly washed and dried it before you use it the next time. Okay, so that is also a very, very, very important part of personal hygiene. And then social distancing. Everyone these days has been talking to you about social distancing. Let's avoid gathering as a group at any kind of any event or any shopping complex or any mall or wherever we intend to go. Social distancing, maintaining social distancing is very, very important. And then simple things like consuming only home cooked meals, and as much as possible try to avoid outside food. Okay, because there is no guarantee when it's home cooked meals, when your parents have cooked it or you have cooked it at home, you exactly know what has gone into it, and you know in what conditions, what kind of conditions it's been prepared. So that is certainly the best way. And as much as possible, eat it warm or hot. Okay, and drinking hot water every single day. Okay, avoid cold water as much as possible. I would really suggest don't drink cold water at all in this situation, because these days I also always keep a thermos flask in handy wherever I go and wherever I sit, and keep taking sips of hot water as much as possible. I think in Kerala, it's been part of our culture to be drinking warm water along with meals, along like not just plain hot water. You can add in herbs of your choice also. There are a lot of them. Your parents might know about it, or your grandparents would know about it. Tulsi leaves or ajwain leaves, all of these can, when added to water and boiled, when you drink that, it can really, really help eliminate infections or at least minimize chances of infection, boosting your immunity. Okay, all of these I'm just telling you as examples of taking care of yourself to the best possible extent. Another thing that you can possibly do is gargle. Okay, gargling with warm water, not just warm saline water, even adding like rock salt, not normal salt, rock salt, and a little bit of turmeric in it. If you just boil some water, leave it to cool down for a little bit. When it's warm enough, okay, not hot, okay, be very, very careful with that. When it's warm enough so that your throat can comfortably handle the heat, make sure you gargle it at least once or twice in a day. Okay, if you have gone out somewhere or are back after a trip or something like that, definitely you must do this. If not, make it part of your daily routine. Okay, so that's about the first habit, self care. If there's anything else you would like to add, please do feel free to add it in the comment section below. I would love to read it from your side. Okay, so this is about self care. Secondly, another habit that all of us must cultivate this year is the habit of reading. It needn't necessarily be reading a long novel or reading a long book, because not everyone has grown up reading a lot of books. Well, ideally, we should have, because reading is a very, very, very beautiful habit that should be a part of everyone's lives. Basically, I think one major advantage of reading is that it enhances your creativity a lot, because when you're watching a movie, definitely yes, you're watching a lot of colorful things that are happening on screen, but then your eyes are directly getting to see it, and what you're seeing, your brain is able to remember it. But then when you're reading a book and when you're imagining it, your brain is left to its creativity and power to imagine what the book is trying to say in mere text. That is certainly improving your brain's functioning, your brain's capacity. And as a student, it's super duper important, because even in your exams, reading something faster will help you in managing your time during exams as well, especially in like exams like English, wherein you're given long paragraphs, long comprehensions that you have to read within a given time and answer questions based on that, right? So reading should be part of everyone's lives. Another relevance I can see to the habit of reading in today's situation, in the current situation, is that reading improves your insights into a lot of situations. You start to look at things in many different angles, and your brain and your mind are carried to totally different worlds. And this is a situation where we are having to sit at home, and we are probably unable to travel out and go out and watch a lot of scenery and things that we might otherwise have seen while traveling, right? All that is not an option, unfortunately, for the next few months. So reading can certainly enhance your mind by expanding its horizons and taking you to a completely different world. To tell you in simple language, that's it. It takes you to a completely different world so that you come back to your normal life feeling refreshed. If you have done the reading in the right manner, you certainly get this feeling that you have actually traveled to that place. Trust me, because I have experienced this, and I am still trying to improve more and more on my habit of reading. Okay, so stay with me on that. Habit of reading, super duper important. Do not start with huge books. This is my personal tip. If you haven't been a huge fan of reading, just start with reading for at least 10 to 15 minutes in a day. It needn't be anything related to academics. Whatever gives you complete happiness, it can be anything. Okay, can be in any language, be it Hindi, Tamil, Malayalam, English, Telugu, Kannada, whatever your personal language, your mother tongue, anything. Start with anything that interests you. Once you get into the habit, make sure you start reading longer things, like longer books and a lot of other things. And all the advantages that I have just mentioned will certainly follow. Okay. Now, in addition to reading, in the second habit itself, I would like to add, in addition to reading, please do cultivate a very, very creative hobby as well. Okay, because you are unable to go out and play, probably like outdoor games may not be an option now. So because of that, instead of staying in front of the screen all the time, because already in your online classes you must be spending a lot of time in front of the screen, so at least now during your leisure time, for a change, stay off screen, stay away from all kinds of social media, stay away from all gadgets, and develop something very, very creative, like picking up, learning of a new musical instrument, learning a new song, probably taking, some kind of interest in things like puzzles, crosswords, or probably doodling, a lot of things, anything that comes to your mind, gardening, anything. Okay, anything that actually gives you proper happiness is something that you must certainly develop now, because as I said, it's easy to fall into a state of depression, or easy to fall into a negative state of mind when you are just staying indoors most of the day. This is why reading and developing one more additional interesting hobby becomes super important today. Okay, and now coming to the third habit that I wanted to tell you about, make it a habit to talk to your parents and the rest of your family at least for a few minutes at the end of every day. Ideally, it would be the best if all of you could have your meals together, at least have dinner together with your family every single day. Share whatever happened in your day, whatever happened in your online classes, whatever new things you picked up in your hobby or while exploring some hobby by yourself. Talk about reading a book, having read a book, anything and everything. Maintain an open relationship. You know why this is super important? Because today and for the next few months, home and family will continue to be your world. So it is very, very, very important that you make it a healthy atmosphere, make it a healthy environment. It's not only the responsibility of elders in the family to make it a healthy atmosphere, it is equally your responsibility as well. You're a teenager now. You can certainly take charge of yourself. You can certainly take charge of a lot of things. So ensure that a healthy atmosphere is maintained. Okay, this is also important so that talking to family, again, as I said, can prevent you from falling into a negative state of mind at this point of time. And if possible, additionally, if you are the kind of person, like the kind of child that I used to be when I was a child, I used to really enjoy writing and journaling a lot. Like just writing down whatever happened in that particular day, or write down random thoughts that come to me. I even today, whenever I find the time, I try doing that. I think it's a super nice way to explore yourself, to talk to yourself, to improve yourself. If possible, try and develop the journaling habit also. Okay, so three main habits that I have told you about. Do not leave. I have one more golden tip to give you, which will help make sense of all these three. The three habits, once again, practice self-care. I've given you examples of that. Secondly, practice reading and cultivate a very, very good and creative hobby in addition to reading. Thirdly, talk openly to your family, your parents basically, and journaling if possible at the end of the day. And the golden tip that I wanted to tell you is all about developing self discipline. Well, self discipline, you're probably wondering why is ma'am even talking about self discipline now? Every teacher talks about this, every parent talks about this. But children, let me tell you what exactly I mean by self discipline now. All that is important at this point is that you are a lot on your own. Classes are happening online. Probably when you were going to school, your school and your teachers could take better care of yourselves. They could decide things for yourselves. They could always be there to monitor your homework, monitor your assessments, give you like surprise tests as and when they wanted to check your progress and guide you probably every single day. But now everything is online, and a lot of it depends on your responsibility, your own responsibility as a child. So take charge of yourself. Make sure you have developed a very, very strict routine, a strict daily routine, incorporating time for all these things that I have mentioned, which are having time for online classes, having family time, having leisure time, giving yourself enough time to do something you love doing, giving yourself time to sleep, and of course, time for physical exercise, right? All of these must be incorporated in your daily routine, whatever it may take you. I'm not even giving you an option, children, because this is extremely important. Even for me, as the mother of a 6-year-old child, initially during the lockdown, it was very difficult for me because 6-year-old children are very, very so full of energy, right? They just want to keep exploring things. They just feel so bored sitting indoors. For me, as a mom, as a parent, also, it was very difficult to come up with a new routine that I could stick to. But I think by now, in the last few months, last 4-5 months, whatever suits our family, we have come up with something like that. So, again, same way for you also. This is my personal suggestion. Whatever works for you and your family best, do not go ahead and copy anyone else's routine, because ultimately, at the end of the day, as I said, at least for the next few months, home and family are going to be your world. Okay, so that's about it from my side for today, children. Do put in your thoughts in the comment section below or drop in an email to me at ambika.gopalakrishnan@vedantu.com. And until we meet again with yet another interesting topic, this is Ambika signing off. Take care, stay healthy, stay happy, and bye bye.